Luke Cage, y'all. Now, we know what he's about. You can't shoot him, you can't burn him, and you can't blow him up. But has anybody ever tried to poke this nigga in the eye like really, really bad? Think about it. If the nigga can't see, the nigga can't save. What's going on, everybody? It's the Granddad Woolly, and you are here again for another edition of Woolly Reviews TV Data Netflix Pick. We got a series review today. We're gonna talk about the brand new season of one of my favorite series that just fucking dropped. I've been waiting for this shit. The motherfuckers over at Netflix and the motherfuckers over at Marvel are back at it again. And you know Marvel just making all kinds of paper. They got movie paper, TV paper, comic book paper, and that's already on fucking paper, nigga. And now one of my favorite series is back, so you know I had to talk about this shit. This nigga's back. He drops some new shit. Harlem's Finest, talking about the new season of Marvel's Luke Cage. Of course it's titled Marvel's Luke Cage Season 2. Now, for those who don't know, Marvel's Luke Cage, or Luke Cage, is a superhero out of the Marvel Universe. I'm not gonna lie, y'all. I wasn't too up on Luke Cage. I knew about the nigga, but I really didn't get into the motherfucker until I saw this shit. Well, I actually saw him also on Jessica Jones. And you know what? Don't matter. I saw the nigga, I fuck with the nigga, and that's where we at right now. And this is the second season. The first season that dropped was so fucking dope. I loved it from just the way that it was shot and filmed and the music and everything in between. So once that shit ended, I was like, thug tier, but I knew it was coming back, and we are finally here. So now let's see if season 2 of Marvel Luke Cage lives up to the first season, because like shit, like first season was fire. I mean, look at the music and Cottonmouth R.I.P. and all the shit that went down. Yo, y'all got a tough act to follow, but you know what? Who's gonna follow its own act but the act itself? You get what I'm saying? Let's talk about the shit. Now, if you're not up on the Netflix Marvel series that's been going on for the past few years, you got Daredevil, Jessica Jones, Iron Fist, The Defenders, and Luke Cage, then this is all interconnected. It's sort of like the MCU, but in a Netflix TV version of it, and all these characters are sort of in this whole universe. So, in Marvel's Luke Cage, this picks up right after what happens in The Defenders, as well as in Jessica Jones Season 2, which I'm not gonna lie, y'all, I started watching it, and then I stopped, and I didn't go back to it. But hope I ain't missed nothing, y'all, but it's all good. I mean, shit happens. But what I do see from this season is that it picks up directly after what happens in The Defenders, and this is pretty much Luke Cage back in Harlem. And at this point, Luke Cage has sort of settled into his newfound superhero fame. He's kind of gotten used to it. Everybody like fucks with Luke Cage. Luke Cage is the man. You know, he just kind of keeps everything in check and under control. Criminals are afraid of him. The homies on the block love him. The ladies want to smash, and everything is good for Luke Cage. But the nigga's broke as fuck because he ain't got a job. You know, he don't want to like cash in on his superhero shit, so he's still living in Pop's barbershop. R.I.P. Pops. And just figuring out what life's about. I mean, but he still got Claire, aka the Bilal of Netflix. She there, Rosario Dawson. You know she had to get that check. You know she ain't gonna not be in this motherfucker. But she is also there, as well as Black Mariah's back in here. Shades is back. Misty Knight is back, and she got a fresh arm looking all cybernetic and shit. Who else in this mother? Sugar's back. Everybody's back. I mean, everybody who was in season 1 who didn't die is back in season 2. And we also get cool cameos from other characters as well, and new characters introduced. And the general plot of season 2 really doesn't focus too much on Luke Cage. I mean, it does, but it doesn't. The real core of the story in season 2 really focuses on Black Mariah Dillard, and her beef, or her sort of altercation with this motherfucker named Bushmaster, this Jamaican dude who was like crazy fucking strong and agile and doing capoeira type fucking kung fu shit. But basically he's a bad motherfucker, and he was a part of this family who helped founded Harlem's Paradise, and this rum that the Stokes family had pretty much kind of coined and took over, and the shit happened kind of crazy. Motherfuckers ended up dead, and now Bushmaster wants revenge on Mariah and all of Mariah's people and all that shit. So it's this war going on between these two families, and Luke Cage is kind of stuck in the middle trying to keep everything in check. So he's got to take care of Bushmaster's ass, as well as he's got to take care of Mariah's ass, while also taking care of his ass. And he's pretty much just worried about what the fuck's gonna happen to Harlem at the end of the day, because everything is fucked. And that's all that's going on between Black Mariah and Bushmaster, and Luke Cage himself has to look within himself to figure out who he really is in Harlem and as this hero, because he's dealing with a lot of personal conflicts with his father, with Claire, with just him just kind of taking on this role as a hero and trying to do the best that he can while still feeling like he can't do everything, but he wants to do everything. He has to play the peacemaker, but he also has to be the sort of the vigilante that has to kind of take care of things that the cops can't do. But he also doesn't want to end up being sort of like the scapegoat for everything and sort of having everything put on his shoulders. So Luke Cage has to kind of figure out what his proper role and what he has to do for Harlem, because he loves Harlem. He wants Harlem to be safe, but he wants to do it within the realm that makes him feel like he's doing the best that he can without having other people sort of taking the hit for it in some way, shape, or form. And that's pretty much the general premise of the entire season. Now here's the thing, is it fucking good? You goddamn right it's good. This shit is so fucking good, y'all. Yo, look, season 1 was fire, but season 2, like, it's just as fire, but it's like a new dynamic of fire. What season 2 brings, I think, is we've gotten so used to these characters. We've seen them in not only season 1, but also other series if you watch the other shows. But the development of all these characters, from Luke Cage to Black Mariah to Misty Knight to even Shades and all these other characters, is so dope in season 2, because they start off one way from season 1 and even kind of pick up that way in season 2. But as the season goes on and the episodes go, they all kind of have this kind of shift and this change in their ethics and their thoughts and what they think is the right or the wrong way to do things to reach their end goal. And it's just cool to see how all these characters kind of just have this sort of character shift and dynamic change, and it really does affect how everything else goes along in the show, which I think is really fucking dope. Because, you know, sometimes with these series you kind of get one character that changes, or the main character just changes, but in here it seems like every character that's pretty much vital to this entire plot and story changes either for the better or for the worse. And it's cool to see that, because it shows that the show and the writing and the whole entire appeal of what Luke Cage is progressing and evolving, which I think is dope. And of course, you know, we got the action and the fighting scenes, which are always on point. Luke Cage, he a bulletproof motherfucker, so everybody tries to shoot Luke Cage, and the shit don't work. They try though. I mean, they gotta give an A for effort. But basically, the fight scenes on here are dope. Like I said, Luke Cage is a brawler type fighter, so you got those nice brawler scenes in here. But we get cameos from like Danny Rand, the Iron Fist shows up, so we get that kung fu shit. Bushmaster is an amazing fucking fighter in this fucking show. He's got this like some Eddie Gordo capoeira shit. The motherfucker whooped Luke Cage ass like 3 times, y'all. He was fucking him up. But basically, it's a lot of great action in this show, a lot of great moments, some really crazy dramatic moments in here, a lot of secrets. I don't want to like spoil everything, but there's some crazy shit that goes on, like with Black Mariah and her daughter Tilda, who is introduced, and some crazy, nasty shit happens. I'm just saying, it's wild. It's fucking wild. As well as the shit that goes on with Shades and his homeboy Comanche, and like their dynamic is crazy. And Luke Cage and Claire, and Luke Cage and Misty, and Luke Cage and Mariah. Luke Cage and everybody has something to go on. But basically, the dynamic and just how everybody just kind of works together or works against each other, it all fits so well within the plot of the story, and it's just so intriguing. And the way that it progresses, it gets worse and worse as the show gets better. I'm talking about the things that happen in the show get worse, but the show, as you're watching, it just gets better and better, because you get more invested in these characters and their motives and what they're doing. And when it comes to the actual ending and climax of the season, I really did not expect it to end that way. I mean, I liked how it ended, but it was just so unexpected, because you wouldn't think that it would go that way. I'm not gonna spoil it, but it just has to do with Luke Cage and Mariah, and I mean, just it's wild how just things kind of turned out, but it also makes perfect sense as well. So it's like, you know, you see why it happened, but you just didn't expect it to happen that way. And everything that led up to it was just crazy as fuck. But this was a dope ass season. I think it was shot very well. I think it was written very well. We got great musical performances. You got KRS-One and Rakim in here. You got a great fucking music from Adrian Young and Ali Shaheed Muhammad coming back doing the fucking score of this shit. And everything on here is just so goddamn good. From the drama to the action, just to the build up, the chemistry between the characters. Everything on here works so well, and this cast works together so well. And I can't wait for season 3 to see how this thing just continues to progress, because Luke Cage, I think out of all the Marvel shows, really does the best as far as character development goes. I would say Daredevil was second, but I think Luke Cage with this season took the cake easily. So my final verdict, I'm not saying that Marvel Luke Cage season 2 is just as dope, if not doper than season 1. All I'm saying is that everybody on the acting side kills it. Mike Coulter as Luke Cage is crazy. All the other motherfuckers, I'm not IMDb-ing that shit. All the motherfuckers on there are doing their damn thing. The acting on here is great. The writing is great. The script is on point. Everything just flows so well with the story. There's a lot of twists, a lot of turns, a lot of things you didn't expect to see that happen on here. A lot of great cameos. Like I said, Iron Fist is up in here. Colleen Wang's back up in this thing. You know, of course, the main characters are on here as well. And it's just good to see all these people coming through and just giving us a great season and a great story that makes sense when, you know, the motives are there, the clear-cut reasoning why things are happening is there, and it just ends so well. It's 13 episodes long, hour each. I tried to binge watch the shit, but it was hard as fuck, so it took me a few days to watch the shit, but it was on point, and I enjoyed every fucking moment of it, and I cannot wait for season 3. So all I gotta say is that for me, Luke Cage season 2 is 100% Granddad approved. Definitely go watch it if you ain't watched it yet. I know I'm a little late, y'all. I'm about a week late on this shit, but it's all good. If you ain't seen it yet or you ain't done watching it, finish it up or start watching it because it's on point. I love this fucking series. I can't wait for the 3rd season. I mean, I don't know what's next after this. I think Daredevil should be next. Hopefully Daredevil's next, and then maybe Iron Fist. So we probably don't get another Luke Cage until like next year, maybe 2020. But yo, whenever it shows up, I'll be waiting because this shit is fucking fire. But I got nothing more to say. Luke Cage, Season 2 is Granddad approved. So go watch the shit right fucking now. Flip it. Alright, y'all, that's going to do it for today's video. Make sure you give me a thumbs up and drop a comment. Tell me what you think of Marvel Luke Cage Season 2 if you've seen it. If you have not seen it, you fucking up. Go watch this shit. Binge watch it if you can because it's fucking dope. I think it's just as good, if not better, than Season 1. And everybody does the damn thing on here. I'm going to stop talking about it. I've said what I need to say about it. I don't want to spoil nothing. Just go watch it because it's fire. Previous videos on the sides was my latest single. Check that out. Show us some love. And as always, Twitter, Facebook, SoundCloud, Instagram. Links in the description below. And subscribe. Button on the screen. Button below. Woolly Reviews twice a week, as well as the gaming videos. Let's talk about the shit. All the other good shit. Info is below. Make sure you hit that notification bell so you know when I drop shit. And I got nothing more to say. So until next time I take my leave, Granddaughter, Marvel Luke Cage, Season 2, shit is fire. I mean, this show is becoming just as bulletproof as this nigga, but honestly, next season, have somebody just poke that nigga in the eye real bad, Three Stooges style. I bet he ain't gonna be able to be in operation for at least 2-3 episodes. It's gonna fucking work, and you better pay me if it does. I'm out of here.